Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Today I want to show you how to write a different API for printf. The reason for that is because when you're using printf, the more variables that you got, the more complicated it gets, right? For instance, let's say, hi, my name is, and then we place a placeholder, and I am yet another one. Here's old, and now let's say that I want to print some floating values, so on and so forth. And now I gotta add those values in the correct order to not have garbage printed out, right? So let's see how we can improve this. And also, I'm not going to use the VA types because or the functions because I always forget the API for some reason. So instead, I want to use um, another approach that I came up with, which I think it's easier. So let's give it a try. So first of all, we need a way of storing those values, and we need to know what's the type of it. So for that, let's go ahead and create a new struct for that. So we're going to say struct variable, right? And then in here, we're going to add a union for the value itself, right? The first one is going to be a string or, yeah. And there's a reason why this is at the very beginning, but we'll see that later. And then let's go with an integer, and lastly with a float, right? We can add more values later. And then we're going to add a new field for the type, right? We could make this a enum, but for simplicity, I'm going to leave it as an int. Now let's write the print my printf, and for this, we're going to take a pointer to some variables, right? Now, you could think of this as an array of variables, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to go through all the variables, right? And we're going to iterate through the whole list, right? And in each iteration, we're going to check what's the type of this variable, right? We're going to say the type, and we're going to assume that case 0 is going to be for string. So we're going to go ahead and do this and variables value dot s, right? And we're going to repeat the process for integer, right? And for float. And so, whoops. And so that's all good, but how do we know when to stop this iteration? Well, we can use a special value to exit out of the loop. And in this case, I'm going to use -1. So how do we use it? How do we use this? We can say my printf, and then we can pass a an array of structs like so, right? And we're gonna say, hi, this is my string, and then we can say, we can do dot value dot I equals 42, right? And finally, we're gonna say this, right? We're gonna say we don't care about the value itself, and the type is gonna be a null terminator, or this special case. And for this, we also need to specify the type, which we mentioned that one is going to be integer. And so hopefully if we give it a try, we should, hey, look at that, it works. So hi, this is my string 42. right? Now, the thing is, this is horrible, right? Um, it's not a very good API to use. So how can we make this a bit better? Well, we can make use of macros. So we're gonna add a underscore for this. This is not the function that we want to use primarily. Instead, we want to rely on a macro. So for that, we're going to say my printf, and this one is going to call my printf with the underscore um, in the name. And so here, we're going to do this, right? We're going to say that. We're going to also accept a few parameters, and we're gonna place those in here. And lastly, we're gonna specify this special value so the user doesn't need to do that, right? And so now let's see how it works. We can do my string. Let's see if that one works. It does. What about integers? Well, let's add a few more macros. I'm gonna say integer, right? And this is gonna be struct variable, and it's gonna be the same. We're gonna say value dot integer equals x, and then the type is gonna be 1 because it's a integer. And so with that, we can do something like this. If we run that again, oops, we're getting an error. Why is that? Integers type 1. Not entirely sure what's the error. What's the line? 41. Let's see. So that's incorrect. Why is that? X, and then the type is 1. Do I not need to pass the... Oh, that's weird. Um, well, that's nice. So now you can see how this looks a bit nicer. So I can say my name is, and then Franco, right? And then my number is 42. And I got another error. Why is that? Oh, my name is Franco. My number is 42, right? And so I think this API is a lot better than the normal printf. Not only that, you can also add more formats uh, in case you need it. For instance, let's say that you got a vector2 type, and this is going to be, I don't know, x and y, right? Now let's say that I want to print that. I can do v2, right? And I can say 88, 99, right? Then I need to define a vector2, right? And the value is going to be v2 x type. We can add a new type, and let's say that 3 is going to represent a vector, right? And so now I can do v2. That's this one in, right? You can massage the API, but you pretty much get the idea, right? And then in here, we're gonna do case 3 is gonna be for vectors, and then here we're gonna do x, and finally y, right? And then in here we need to add struct v2, and gonna be v2 as well. Put this at the top. like so, and then hopefully this should work. Maybe not. Do I need that? Nope. 54 micro v2 with too many arguments. I'm not sure what's the issue here. Dark v2, v2. Is it a naming collision? Why are you complaining? What if I do this? Can I do that? Interesting. Oops. Alright. Making silly mistakes. It's not cooperating. What's going on? Field expected. Oh, that's a nice error. Um, what if I do this? Defy. It really does not want to cooperate. Or do I need to... What if I don't do that? I see. What if I do this? Too many arguments. Okay. Is there a naming issue? Not really. Do I need parentheses? Oop. Hmm? That's weird. What if I do... What if I do that? Oh, now it works. Okay, whatever. I'll take it. So let's see if I can do that. Yes, I can. Let's go ahead and remove this. Add some space. You can see 2 and 3 being printed. And perhaps we want to add some parentheses, right? But you can see how you can play with this whole thing. And the API is not that bad. Now, the reason why, so going back to why the car is at the very top is because the first file is going to be used as a default, right? So with that, we don't have to make a macro for string, right? Because the compiler is gonna imply that um, if I don't specify anything, it's gonna be a string, right? And we also use 0 as a string, so we don't have to define any special macros for it. And since strings are gonna be pretty much the default or the most used value, I think this is a pretty good default to have. And so yeah, that's my approach to writing a different printf, which I think, and this is personal preference, but I think this is way better than having to place all the values correctly. So hopefully you found this useful. So I suppose we'll see. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.